Togger here with a new video, and this video is finally Elemental Shaman PvP video, and it's a build video. I'm going to show you guys the build I'm running 99% of my games right now. I decided to find fun, and fun found me. Let's talk about it. So we have Elemental Shaman, they have the lava build, everyone knows it. You press lava burst and earth shock like every single CD that you can actually use. Primordial wave is your burst. You kind of put primordial wave with meteor, so you can actually have your environmental do the damage like right away. And then you have like a load of lava burst going onto the enemy. That's the normal Elemental Shaman build, which I think 90% of the people are playing. Then you have like Elemental Shaman build with this, but also Stormkeeper, which is not a very popular build, because Stormkeepers by themselves doesn't really do that much damage, because it needs to crit to do like some good, like relevant damage, or you have to have a build that plays around the strength of a Stormkeeper build, which often is with Volcanic Surge. And then we have the third build, which I find the most fun, I guess frustrating for the enemy team, but I think you can counter it pretty well. I'm going to explain why and how a bit later into the video. If you're like not Elemental Shaman like main and you want to know how to counter Elemental Shaman, I do try to give it also in the video. Now let's talk about it. The stats. I'm not running current optimal stats, but those are the stats I'm running right now. So we play with a bit of crit, so we have 2.3k without PvP, so if I'm in PvP combat it will be higher. We have a bit of haste. It's still not like gigantic amount of haste, but it is still haste. We have some mastery, so we have like some real balanced stats around those three stats, which I find that all those three stats are going to be very complementary together. I will be testing full crit very soon, but I think for now I'm playing with that. It feels like I'm not really playing like a chiz build because of the amount of haste and mastery I have. And then we have versatility. I think I have 28%. We play with the normal enchants. We have Sophic Devotion. We have metal embellishment. We have also the precog one, which I think is mandatory for this build if you want to make it work. Of course, you would not run haste mastery. I think if you are not going to run versatility, you could run, I think, in my opinion, either haste crit or mastery crit, and you will have some great result. Here the same, I have haste mastery on my neck. You could do something like this as well, so maybe crit mastery or crit haste, depending on what you like to see. We try to have also some crit verse on the chest. We don't run the 4 set, because with this build you don't really care about the lava burst burn effect, because you're not going to spam lava burst regardless, because you are playing with Volcanic Surge. I'm going to show you the build very soon. But you will be explained, like we run 3Ps. I think you can also run just 2Ps, but you could like replace the hands for something like crit verse or something like that to be more complementary with the build. But or you replace the legs with something more crit heavy. But that's a choice. I think for now I'm playing like this because we don't have enough conquest. Like I can like have 200 more, so I guess I will have 1000. I cannot replace every single piece, but for now we're playing with this. We also play with the badge, because it is a very big window of opportunity, so you try to badge whenever you're going for a go, and often that can result of a kill. And if not, people are going to blow a lot of CDs, which often in Soul Shuffle you're going to have a lot of advantages because of that. But also play this build in 3s, so it is also possible to play it in 3s. It's also possible to play it in RBGs and also just normal PGs if you want to. You can swap a few talents here and there, but I'm going to show you guys really quickly. So this is my build, and it is different from a few people that run the kind of same philosophy, I would say, because I think there are a few points that are very flexible to pick and to play around. So that's a good thing, right? Let's talk about the spectre. You can play static field totem. So you will have to lose a point into Thunderous Pulse, for example. You go for a technique projection. but depends on who you're facing, to be honest. And I'd like to play with Burrow. I like to play Volcanic Surge because this build is around Volcanic Surge, so you don't have a choice. And I like to play Scar Fury Totem because, again, my burst is around that one moment where I'm going to do a lot of damage. And I can also fake that moment as well. If people know that I'm playing that build, I can just fake it with like a Sky Fury Totem and then a Primordial Wave, and people are going to fall over for it, and then they're going to try to stop at every single point to stop my go. But then you have another go at 45 seconds again, whenever your Primordial Wave is back up. And then you can just do your unloading at that moment. So you can really play around and play some mind games with it. I think it's a very fun build to play. Sometimes very frustrating if you are the target. But again, you have so many spells to actually make them kick. If you want to make them kick on Lava Burst, you can just cast Lava Burst in their face. You will have a free Stormkeeper. Or if you want to cast Ice Fury and they're dumb enough to kick that, that's also cool. If you feel like you're going to spam Healing Surge and they're going to kick that, that's cool. Then you have like a proper go with a Sky Fury Totem into Primordial Wave, into maybe a Spirit Walker's Grace, Stormkeeper, into Lava Burst, and then your whole rotation. So again, there's a lot of ways to play that build, a lot of ways that you can actually switch out talents. But I think that's the main talents I'm playing. I do play with Astral Bulwark because I don't feel like games are that long in Soul Shuffle. But if I'm playing 3s, I do play with Plains Traveler because I feel like I can have a second Astral Shift pretty soon. So this is the class tree. The spec tree, there's a few things that you can change. But this build revolves around your big burst window with Ascendance, which is a 3-minute CD, so you don't want to waste it. Ideally, once they know you have Ascendance, try to fake it. You don't have to Ascendance like from the get-go. You could do if you're like free and they let you do your stuff and the healer is not smart enough to dispel Flame Shocks. You can actually just like kill someone because of that. But if they're going for you and they know you're playing with that, you can just fake it. They will pop a defensive or they will pop something to stop you with a stun or whatever. And then you can just do your Ascendance go a bit further down the line. You don't need to have a perfect go either. Like, you can do a sloppy go and still like eliminate people. But this is pretty much the build. I play with Lord Lightning Rod because again, the damage from Stormkeeper is really big. If they're not dying because of Lava Burst of Ascendance, they're going to die with Stormkeeper. We have also Elemental Equilibrium, which is super easy to proc if you are playing with Primordial Wave with the 2 set, because it's directly. We play with Echo Chamber because, again, you want to do a lot of like Elemental Overloads, so that increased damage is going to help you, again, secure those kills. There is a world where you're going to play like this, for example. There is a world where you're playing like this, right? Playing with this, or you're playing with that. But personally, I have like a bit of success with Echo Chamber and also have 2 points into Master of Elements. Helps me to do more damage on your nature spells, which is Stormkeepers, for example, Lightning Bolt, or even whenever I'm like trying to spam my Ice Fury with Frost Shocks, it does a lot of damage with Lava Burst. We have, of course, Primal Elementalist, which is helping my go because I have my Fire Elemental and the Meteor tied to the Primordial Wave, so it does a lot of damage. And I start the game with Earth Elemental often just to get the stun and to try to survive a bit at the start. The start is really rough, but once you are started and you have Flame Shocks on everyone and you kind of see a few CDs used because you have a teammate that is also going to do something, you can then like try to plan on your go. So I think it's a very mental agility that you need for that build. It's very fun. We play with, for example, Flux Melting. Some people play with Electrified Shocks. I like it, but it needs you to cast Ice Fury before. And I feel like it's very noticeable to make a big go. You could do that. You cast an Ice Fury and then a Frost Shock, and then you have your Stormkeeper, and you do your Sky Fury Totem into a Primordial Wave into a big Lava Burst into Ascendance, and then a Stormkeeper Lightning Bolt. But that's a lot of GCDs. People are not going to let you cast that. The good thing is, if you're playing with Flux Melting, every time you're going to do a Frost Shock, your Lava Burst is going to deal more damage. So what I do at the start, I put my Flame Shock, I spam Frost Shock anyways, because to slow them, and just also to build a bit of Maelstrom with, if I have Ice Fury, for example. it's quite nice. But if I don't have Ice Fury up, just spamming a bit of Frost Shocks to slow them and to help you have the Lava Burst damage is quite nice. Then I will do, for example, if I'm free, a Sky Fury Totem after my Stormkeeper. So I do Stormkeeper, Sky Fury Totem, I pop my spiritual, like my Spirit Walker's Grace, I do a Primordial Wave into a Lava Burst, and then Ascendance, and at that point you will have a lot of damage because of the Frost Shock Lava Burst you get from the Elemental Equilibrium, which is also 15%, and then your Lava Burst, which is also going to be duplicated because of Primordial Wave, and then you have your Stormkeeper that is going to obviously delete someone with Lightning Rod on the enemy. I really enjoy that playstyle. It's actually very fun. It doesn't feel cheesy because, again, it is easily stopped. Like, you dispel Flame Shock, you have to go back to square one. If someone uses a defensive, like for example Feign Death, at the moment you're doing your go is ruined. Or if someone knows that what's up with the Elemental Shaman, they can just line a few things. For example, if you see you Stormkeepers, they just have to run away, try to line you, try to stun you, try to delay the inevitable, but they try to do so, and you can actually just lose the game because of the duration of the game, not because of how they stopped you. So that's also a possibility. Also, you kind of, not reliant, but if you have Power of the Maelstrom and you have Surge of Power, you can do some insane amount of damage with Lightning Bolt. But again, you need to have those buffs if you really want to do one-shot damage with just Lightning Bolts, which is not always the case. But overall, it feels fantastic to play. I think you can play still without like the cheesy factor with Ascendance, but I like it to be able to do a Lava Burst and to see like insane amount of damage. I like to do Lightning Bolts and feel like it does something. That's actually fun to me, and also it feels like you have 3 school of spells, so it means that everything you're going to cast, if it's kicked or not, you still have something, a backup to actually help you. If they kick your Lava Burst, you can just spam Hex. If you're kicked on Lava Burst, you can spam Lightning Bolt as well. If you're kicked on Lightning Bolt, you can do Lava Burst, or you can do a Frost Shock, or whatever you can do. If you're kicked on Lava Burst, you can also just Lightning Lasso to give you a bit of time. So you have ways to survive, and you also have Ice Fury, which is also not something you can look over now. It does some damage, and your Frost Shock does also some damage. So overall, this is really fun to play. Those are the PvP talents I play, like, pretty much all the time if I'm playing like versus melees. If it's casters, it's even easier to do so. You put your grounding totem, very cool. And if you're playing on like maps where you can knock people off, Unleash Shield is also helping you with winning some time. Static Field Totem is also interesting if you really don't want to play Sky Fury Totem, which I understand. Then you have to play with Static Field Totem and try to like move them. But again, there's a few classes and specs that don't care about Static Field Totem. For example, TKs. They can eat you. A rogue that cloaks in time doesn't do anything towards a Static Field Totem anyway, so it kind of ruins your go also. So again, you have ways to outplay with your PvP talents, so try to be open-minded in your choices of your PvP talent, and try to be flexible. I think that's the main word. Now, some flex talents you can have. Imagine if you don't have like any mastery and you feel like overloads are not like... Again, I think Echo Chamber is something you want because of Power of the Maelstrom and Surge of Power with the Lightning Bolts. If you don't really want to play, you can play around your Primordial Wave. Personally, I prefer this build. If you feel like you don't want to rely too much on your Stormkeepers, you can also just remove Master of the Elements and put another point in Monsters Will Fall, but I think it's only good if you're playing like around Mastery, in my opinion. You could also put those 2 points into reducing the CD of Ascendance, so you have a go every 2 minutes, and it will give you some additional haste, which is also quite nice. But I think the issue is, are games always lasting more than 2 minutes? If it's the case, then why not? If it's not the case, it feels like you're kind of wasting those 2 points. You could also play with Magma Chamber. I feel like it's very difficult to justify the damage of an Earth Shock whenever you can actually just do a Lightning Bolt or a Lava Burst for way more damage. That's my opinion. You could also play with Searing Flame, so you can actually have more Maelstrom regen, but again, it's only 40% in PvP, so it's not that good. Yeah, I mean, you could like try to play around a few things. For example, lightning bolt. If you like spam a lot of lightning bolt, you could have your stormkeepers on the same CD as a primordial wave, which is quite nice as well. And I'm going to show you guys on a solo shuffle match, hopefully, and you will see in this video, or else I will try to separate it on a second video, depending on the duration of the video. Am I dead? Oh, I'm alive! 1 point, I don't care. Boring match. So, I'm back from the little solo shuffle match. It was so boring. It was literally a 22-minute solo shuffle because of like full caster lobby. It was very boring, but we managed to do 3-3, but it is not fun. I think full caster lobbies are just not fun because it's a PvE matchup. It's not fun, but we did a lot of damage and we managed to win. But anyways, at least 3 rounds. So I started to play my elemental shaman like just recently, and 3v3 also like just recently as elemental shaman. I was playing restoration shaman to play with friends, but it didn't manage too well, but still. And it's very fun. So I'm going to show you the rotation. I think I discussed everything about the build. Now let's talk about the rotation really quickly and how you should play around your CDs. I think as a whole, Elemental Shaman is a very, very fun spec to play, especially since you have a lot of builds. And this build is no different. What you want to do is have your Flame Shock on one target. Ideally, you kind of try to Flame Shock 2 targets so they don't know who you're going for. And you try to Frost Shock to get the proc from Flux Melting. Now the issue is, now I'm explaining, of course, you will get Elemental Equilibrium because of that, more likely, because you're popping a Nature spell, for example, you're popping a Flame Shock, you're popping a Frost Shock, and often it will just proc. So you have to play around that, maybe do a go a bit faster, but anyways, you have 2 Flame Shocks and a Frost Shock buff. So I'm going to rebuff again, so you have both. And what you want to do is, once you're ready to do your go, you're going to pop your Sky Fury Totem into a Stormkeeper, and then a Primordial Wave, which unfortunately we cannot do on the dummy, and then a Lava Burst into a big Ascendance. Generally you should do Lava Burst and then an Ascendance, and then you do your Stormkeeper. If you don't mess up, generally that guy is going to die. Of course, if people know, and they know, unfortunately it's not like new, people are going to pop a defensive, so you kind of have to play around mind games. Like, first and foremost, like, at the start of the match, nobody will know that you're playing that build, but once they play like 2 rounds with you, they're going to pop a CD, or they're going to try to dispel your Flame Shocks, or they're going to try to stop you. So what you want to do is actually just pop a Sky Fury into a Primordial Wave, those 2, and they're going to pop a CD regardless. You're going to do a Lava Burst, a Nerve Shock, and then you can just do a normal Lightning Bolt. It does a lot of damage. Like, just Lightning Bolt itself does a lot of damage, especially since if you get the proc, it does really good damage. Like, it does levels of Stormkeeper damage from your other builds that have no Volcanic Surge, but still does a lot of damage. So you have to play around that, but once you're ready to do your go, and even if you don't have Ascendance, this go is lethal. So you have to wait for Primordial Wave and your Sky Fury Totem back, but you don't have Ascendance. You pop your Fire Elemental, for example. He's going to do his damage, he's going blah blah blah, he's going to chase the enemy. You're going to pop your Flame Shock, a Frost Shock, Sky Fury Totem, Stormkeepers, and then your Primordial Wave, which I tied it with the Meteor, unfortunately, and then you can just do your go like this, and it does a lot of damage. Like, by itself, without Ascendance, it can just net you a lot of damage and a lot of kill potential. And Ascendance is just the cherry on the top, where you can actually literally one-shot someone with just Lava Bursts. And this is the build I'm playing right now. This is actually the most fun I had since a long time on, like, World of Warcraft, like, especially, like, on retail. I think it's very fun to find great builds. This build is not going to be very competitive, let's be honest. There is so much you can do when people stop you, but if you play with a friend in 3s, like for example Destruction Warlock, and they try to stop you at every single turn, your Destruction Warlock is going to have a lot of Chaos Bolt opportunities. So it's kind of a situation where they're going to have to pick their poison. In threes, it's very fun. If you play with another caster, they're going for you or your caster. You can find ways to actually cramp that damage in. If you're playing Soul Shuffle, I personally prefer to play versus melees because they are like too eager to try to follow me into behind a corner. I try to stun them with an Earth Elemental stun, for example, and then I do my go. And generally, they're going to die if they don't have a defensive, or they don't trinket it, or they do something that is not going to be defensive. They're going to get blown up. Now, you're going to get insulted in chats. You're going to have some haters. You're going to have some whispers. But at the end of the day, Blizzard enabled that gameplay. It's a fun build that you can play. You have to build from scratch. Generally, you want to play with 45% crit, because then your lava burst like hits and crits for a lot. While Ascendance, of course, only when you're Ascendance. But of course, your Stormkeeper is then going to crit more often, so you can actually have some great kill potential with just Stormkeeper. But I kind of like to have a bit of haste and mastery, so I will be playing around, and then I will be making a video, like a very short update on what stats I prefer to play as Elemental Shaman. But this build, anyone can do. If you have a bit of crit, like for example, I have 20% in PvP, you can play around that. If you can have 25%, that's also great. If you can have 30%, that's great, but try to not forget about haste and mastery. I think if you want to have fun, having haste is important, because then you have a bit more costs available. Your lightning bolt, don't be careful, like don't be too scared pressing it. It's very important because it does a lot of damage. Like it's always top 2 in my damage done. Like for example, in Mungambala, which one? I think this one, for example. My lightning bolt is top 2. I casted 6 of them. Of course, like I won pretty heavily. This matchup was quite nice. We did a lava burst and like they got destroyed. But there are ways to play around, right? And of course you can spam a bit more lightning bolts, you can spam a bit more frost shocks, a bit of earth shocks. But at the end of the day, you gotta just start casting. And people are going to kick you. But now you're playing a 3 school spells spec. So you have your Ice Fury, your Lightning Bolt, and your Lava Burst. To be honest, if you're getting kicked on something, it's not like the end of the world. Of course, you're going to panic because you want to cast a Lava Burst and it doesn't work. You always have something else to cast, so try to play around your strength, try to play around your totems, try to play around your kiting potential. I'll be making a Soul Shuffle video very soon. After this one, hopefully we don't get like a boring lobby like before, because it was 3-3. It's not a bad lobby, like we won like 1 CR, but it was very boring to play and I guess to watch. Like 22 minutes Soul Shuffle where people are hiding behind corners and trying to peek out for a flame shock. It's not really fun to see. So again, if I can make a Soul Shuffle video, or even like a mini montage video of my burst, I think I'll be doing it. But overall, I'm having a lot of fun with this build. I'm actually playing way more Elemental Shaman. I kind of it rekindled my fun, like my love towards Shaman. So I'm going to play way more Shaman right now. Yeah, I'm looking forward to make way more videos about Elemental Shaman right now, and to show you the ways of the crit. And yeah, hopefully it gets a bit excited for you. If you have any comments to say to me, please let me know so we can actually talk. If you have difficulties with Elemental Shaman, let me know as well. Again, this build is not like very beginners friendly, because it feels like you don't have a lot of tools, and it feels like you're overwhelmed with GCD's usages to actually like have a lot of damage. But once you know your muscle memory and you try to know your burst rotation, you can actually just win games because of how you're playing and who you're playing versus. So again, have a lot of fun with it, and yeah, we will catch you all probably very soon in the next video. Have a great day. Bye.